To understand the early 1980s landscape of English football, look at the terraces. The stadiums were roaring, chaotic, and packed to capacity. Liverpool FC sat at the pinnacle of this environment. They were actively defending the First Division title and contending for the European Cup. But sustaining that level of supremacy requires a constant injection of new, highly capable talent. In April 1980, the club made a highly unusual move. On their chief scout's recommendation, Liverpool paid £300,000 for an unproven 19-year-old reserve player from Chester. It was a national record fee for a teenager. The expectation placed on this young signing, Ian Rush, was immense. He was drafted to eventually partner with Kenny Dalglish, a man widely considered one of the finest forwards on the planet. That towering financial gamble on an untested teenager paid off. Over the next decade and a half, Ian Rush became the lethal finishing edge of English football's most dominant dynasty. Look at this bar chart of single-season scoring averages. In 1983-84, Rush scored 47 goals in 65 matches, earning PFA Player of the Year. Expanding this to compare against top scorers across major European leagues, his output remains untouched, securing the European Golden Boot. He was especially merciless against local rivals. In November 1982, Rush put 4 goals past Everton in a 5-0 victory, setting a post-war record for a single player in a Merseyside derby. His early career crested in the 1985-1986 season. Rush scored twice in the FA Cup final to secure a 3-1 win over Everton, sealing Liverpool's first league and FA Cup double. By his mid-20s, Rush had mastered the English First Division. Geopolitical tragedy, however, was about to force a massive detour in his career path. In May 1985, rioting at the European Cup final caused a retaining wall at the Heysel Stadium to collapse, killing 39 Juventus supporters. In the immediate aftermath, UEFA issued an indefinite ban on all English clubs in European competition. Denied the ability to compete on the continent with Liverpool, Rush accepted an offer to join the very club affected by the tragedy. He signed with Italian giants Juventus in 1986 for a British record transfer fee of £3.2 million. This visualization maps his scoring efficiency before and after the move. On the left, his prolific rate in England. On the right, his output in Italy. Confronted by the ultra-tight, heavily tactical defenses of Serie A, his production dropped sharply. He found the net only 8 times in 29 league appearances. The British press widely circulated a quote claiming Rush said playing in Italy was like living in a foreign country. Rush himself later clarified this was a fictional joke invented by Kenny Dalglish, and that the time abroad actually proved incredibly valuable. That single season in Turin illustrated a hard truth of the sport. A striker's finishing ability is static, but their raw numbers are heavily dictated by the tactical system and the defensive environment they operate within. Rush returned to Anfield in the summer of 1988 for £2.7 million. He arrived back to a slightly altered squad, facing immediate competition for his starting spot from new acquisitions like John Aldridge. But squad rotations quickly faded into insignificance. On April 15, 1989, a devastating crush at Hillsborough Stadium claimed the lives of 97 Liverpool fans. The disaster traumatized the city and the squad, who spent the following weeks attending dozens of funerals. When football finally resumed, Liverpool advanced to the FA Cup final to face Everton. The match carried a crushing emotional weight for a community desperately seeking a moment of relief. With the game locked at a 1-1 draw after 90 minutes, Rush came off the bench. He scored in the 4th minute of extra time, and after Everton equalized, he found the net again in the 103rd minute to secure a 3-2 victory. Those 2 extra-time goals provided a crucial release for a mourning city. Rush delivered a victory at a time when the community's focus was struggling to return to the pitch. The early 1990s brought a structural shift with the formation of the Premier League. Inside Anfield, leadership also changed, with Graham Souness replacing Kenny Dalglish as manager. Ian Rush was now entering his 30s. The lightning pace that defined his early career began to wane, and he adapted his role from a lone superstar threat into an experienced veteran presence in the dressing room. As he gradually lost his guaranteed starting place, he took on the responsibility of mentoring the next generation. He played alongside and guided a brilliant young academy graduate named Robbie Fowler, passing the goal-scoring mantle. Look at this breakdown of his domestic hardware. His transition into a supporting role didn't stop him from contributing to major honors. In 1995, he secured his fifth and final League Cup winners' medal. By adapting his play style and mentoring his successor, Rush maintained his relevance at a club that was moving away from the era of his peak physical dominance. Parallel to his club career, Rush maintained a steady presence on the international stage. Over 15 years playing for Wales, he scored 28 goals across 73 appearances. That goal tally set a national record that stood entirely unchallenged for decades. It wasn't until 2018 that the mark was finally surpassed by Gareth Bale. Rush departed Liverpool in 1996. After brief spells with Leeds United, Newcastle, and a stint in Australia, he retired in 2000, moving into television analysis and coaching. Ian Rush's career serves as a record of English football's most volatile decades. His statistics document the height of 1980s dominance, while his movements track the aftermath of international bans and a city's recovery from tragedy.